Hi, I'm Mandeep Singh, founder of mandeeps.com, and in this video we'll learn how to set up our live storefront module. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and navigate to our documentation for live storefront. Now you can get to this from support, knowledge base, click on live storefront, and from here we're going to go to getting started and setup checklist. And we're going to refer to this throughout this video. So one of the first things we want to do is look at the before you start section. So to set up live storefront, we need to know some basics, like what's the store name going to be, the store address, the email, the phone number, and so forth. It's also important at this time to figure out if you're going to be selling in one currency or multiple currencies, whether you're going to be selling to just one country or throughout the globe, and also what would that default currency or primary currency would be. Alright, so the next step here is to choose our extensions. Out of the box, Live Storefront comes with PayPal Express, fixed shipping, and fixed tax extensions. It's important at this time to explore other extensions that are available and see which one you would like to use. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and go to our eCommerce tab page on our site. I'm going to scroll down here to extensions and take a look at some of the extensions that I would want to use on my store. For example, if you'd like to integrate with Google Analytics, that's one extension that you can download. If you are doing multiple currencies, perhaps you want to do a currency exchange automatically, so there's currency layer there. And more importantly, payments. PayPal Express comes with Live Storefront, but maybe you want to charge credit cards directly through Authorized.net, Braintree, Stripe, Square, so forth. So for purpose of this demo, I'm just going to choose Authorized.net as one of the additional extensions that I want to go ahead and install and configure. Next, we're going to go ahead and download the product. We're going to head over to downloads and make sure we have the latest version of Live Storefront module right here, and any of the extensions that we want to download. For example, I wanted to work with Authorized.net, so I would download this one as well. Or you could alternatively just download the eCommerce collection, which gives you all the extensions on the module, so it's easier to go ahead and install whatever you like. Once you've downloaded the extensions, you're ready to go ahead and install them. So let's go ahead and do that. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we review system requirements. Live Storefront supports DNN 7.3 plus, so you're okay to install on any version that is greater than 7.3 or greater. Some of the extensions may have their own minimum requirements, so refer to them prior to installing. So let's go ahead and go to the next step, which is the installation. So right here, what I have is an instance of DNN 9.3.2, and I'm just going to go ahead and log in as super user. And this is a brand new installation. I have nothing on this DNN install yet. We're going to go ahead and go to extensions, and I'm ready to install. Now let's look at the files that we had downloaded from our site. So I ended up downloading the eCommerce collection, so I have the Live Storefront module plus all the extensions. So first, of course, we're going to install the Storefront module, and then for this demo I also wanted to install the Authorized.net. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do here is just quickly create a folder called install files, so I know which files I need to install. The files that you downloaded must be extracted or unzipped, so let's go ahead and do that. Live Storefront first. Inside I have the install files, and I see that there's the Live Storefront installation, common library, and a URL library. Since I'm installing this on a DNN 9, I can safely use DNN 8.0 plus version here. If you were on DNN 7, you would use this version right here. So basically I need these three install files, which I'm going to copy and then bring to my install files right here and paste it. I need to install these. In addition, I also wanted to install the Authorized.net extension, so I'm going to go there and grab that package as well. So these are the 4 extensions that I need to install at the moment. And this is super easy to install. Basically, you start by installing the common library first. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit install extension, and I'm going to go right here to the Live Storefront. Right there to the install files. I'm going to choose the common library. We'll click through these prompts, accept the license, and momentarily the library should be installed. And it's installed. Now I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, make sure installation is successful. And we're going to repeat that step for the URL library. And again, we'll wait for the installation to complete, and that was quick. So again, we're going to repeat that step for now our live storefront module. And lastly, I want to go ahead and install that authorize.net extension. So I'm going to repeat that installation process one more time and do that. Now, if you were to install more than one extension, you simply repeat this process as many times for as many different extensions you would like. Same process, nothing different. Just browse the file and install it, and you're good to go. All right, so Live Storefront there has installed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the last extension, which is the authorize.net. And we are all good. Everything installed successfully. All right, so the next step here is to go ahead and add the Live Storefront module to a page and activate or continue with the trial. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to come right back here to my site and just really quick go ahead and create a page. You can call this page whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Store. We'll make sure everybody can view this page. I'm going to go ahead and add it. And we'll refresh the page. We'll wait for the site to refresh here. And there's our store page, which has nothing on it. I'm going to go ahead and delete this default module. And now would be the time to add Live Storefront to it. So I'm going to search for Live Storefront and add that right in. Okay, so the first thing I see is our license manager, whether we want to activate or continue trial. I'm going to go ahead and select both products, the Live Storefront and the extension. I'm going to go ahead and click continue trial, and what this does, it puts the module into trial mode for us automatically. What we see here is the setup wizard, which we'll look back in a second. At any time when you're ready to activate the product, you can click on activate. And you'll come right back here. I'm going to go ahead and choose this and hit activate. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and activate the product simply by typing in your license email address. All right, let's type in the email address and we will go ahead and click activate. Hit OK. And both of the products have been activated. So there we go. We've just finished our activation. Let's go ahead and look at the next part, which is the setup wizard. Now, setup wizard automatically launches as soon as you add the module to the page. So I will go ahead and see it right here. There's the setup wizard. All right, so let's go ahead and set up the store using this wizard. The first thing is we need the basic information like the store name. So we'll just call this mandeeps.com. We need our address information. I'm just going to copy paste some of this stuff to make my life easier. We are, of course, in the United States, in California, and our zip code is 92877. Then we have sales at mandeeps.com. We'll plug in our number 844 Mandeeps. And then this is important. We want to choose a perfect time zone. So we're going to use specific time for us. Our default or primary currency, this is the currency that you're doing your transactions in. So if you are a shop that is in Europe, then you probably want to use euro here. Or if you are in Australia, then you would use Australian dollars and so forth. But primarily we want to transact in US dollars. You have your default dimensions. By default, we want to work with feet. You could work with inches, meters, millimeters, and even add your own custom ones after you set this up. And same goes here. We want to work with pounds rather than kgs or anything else. And whether we ship or do business with all countries. So for right now, I'm going to choose yes because we do. But let's say if you were only doing business within your own country, you would choose this to no, and then go ahead and add your countries like from here, the ones that you do business with. This is the initial setup wizard. After you set this up, you have more granular control. For example, you could be doing billing in a specific country but not ship there and so forth, and you can configure that. We also want to have a logo, so let's go ahead and grab that. I'm just going to grab one right here. So there's our logo right there. So here here it gets interesting. It says include widgets. This is really to help us set up the store much quickly. What this really does is adds the live storefront widget module on the page and automatically configures the navigation, the categories, the mini cart, and so forth. So it's less work as an admin for me to do it. By all means, you can do that individually as well, or remove it later. So it's always okay to leave this yes. This setup sample store is extremely important and extremely useful if you're just setting up the store to evaluate or to demonstrate to a client. If this is not your production store, then definitely go ahead and keep this yes. What this does, it automatically creates some sample products, categories, even manufacturers, even import some sample sales data so you can see the graphs and reports and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do yes on this one to show that as well. So let's click on next here. We'll give the store about a minute, well, a minute is too much, about a couple seconds here to go ahead and set that up, and it did. Next thing we need to do is figure out how we're going to go ahead and collect payments. So because we installed the authorized.net extension, we already see it here as an option. The PayPal Express checkout comes out of the box. It's super easy. Let's say I want to accept payments from PayPal Express. I'll go ahead and check this. And at this point, I need to have my PayPal Express credentials here that I can paste in. Now, I already have these available. Refer to documentation to get these from your PayPal account. I'm just going to simply copy and paste these here and hit update. And similarly, I'll go ahead and hit authorize.net. And here it's asking me for a login ID and transaction key. I'm not going to go ahead and add it at this time just to demonstrate that, for example, let's say if you don't have these credentials handy, that is okay. We can go ahead and add this later. So I'm going to uncheck this and go ahead and add this later after I'm done with this setup. So you're under no obligation or pressure to finish this right now. Feel free to leave this blank if you don't have the information. Hit next. Now next is asking, will you ship physical goods? Now you can say yes, and if you do, it's asking you where the origin postal code where you're going to be fixing and what extensions you want to use for shipping. Now if you had installed UPS or USPS extensions, you would see them here, and similarly you'll be able to set it up. I'm going to go ahead and I can check this or uncheck this. It really doesn't matter at this point because we did say we want to set up a sample store, so it will automatically configure things for us. It's very important if you're not setting up a sample store that you configure these. And again, it doesn't have to be done at this stage. We can do it after with the wizard as well. So right now I'm going to leave this blank, no, and just go ahead and same thing, I'm going to leave this blank, and I'll demonstrate how we can go ahead and set this up after we're done setting the wizard. So let's go ahead and click finish. We'll just wait here for a few seconds, let the store do its magic, and there we go. Our store is all set up. What we're looking at is the back end, which is the dashboard view. It already has, as you can see, imported some of the sales data. We see there was an order today. We can see some graphs and a dashboard here. I can hit view store, and this will take me to the front end, to the actual store page, which would be this page right here. And this is where I will see my front end of the store, and I'll see how the widgets were added and configured and lined up. So there's our front end of the page. I do see that there's my main store right there, and I see all the categories are right here, the search here. So basically we have a widget module here, and we have a bunch of widget modules up here. Now remember, since we don't really know what DNN theme you're using, we couldn't place them in appropriate panes for you, so that's left for us to do. What we want to do here is simply grab this one right here, and we're going to take it up into a left pane. Well, don't have one there, so let's go back here. Let's put it right here in this left pane, and what we want to do is bring the store module and bring it into a right pane right here. And we can leave the navigation on the top, looks good, and we can leave the mini card and stuff up here. Ideally, you would want to put it into a top right pane in your theme so it's easily visible on every page. So let's go ahead and close this, take a look. There you go, that's how my store looks right now. There's the left pane, there's your store, there's your navigation running on the top. So keep in mind, I'm doing this in default DNN theme. Obviously, things will look different and much more pleasing with a DNN theme that's more professional and targeted towards an e-commerce store. All right, let's continue and let's go back to our checklist. We are done with the wizard. The next thing we want to do is configure. So this is if you didn't configure the payment and shipping and taxes, now would be a good time to do them. So I purposely left out authorize.net. So let's go ahead and see how you would do that once you're finished with the setup. So you can always go back to your backend or to manage the store through this icon right here. So let's go ahead and click on that. And every extension is accessible through store extensions. So let's go there. As you can see, I'm looking at the payments extensions right now, and the only payment extension that's enabled for this store is PayPal. Let's look at the available extensions, and we see authorize.net is available because it was installed. So let's go ahead and check this. What this does, this enables it for our store, and I now see it is available right here. And this is where I can quickly go ahead and update its settings by just clicking this right here. So I have my credentials. I'm going to just copy and paste, and I will be all set to update it. Keep in mind that we want to keep this on test, which is the Sandbox environment, until we're ready to go live, and that's when you will check this. This transaction mode here is basically if you want to capture the transactions right away, or just authorize them manually. Authorize them and then manually capture at a later time. So I'll go ahead and update this. Similarly, if you ever needed to change these credentials, for example for PayPal, you would come back here and you would find them right there. All right, same thing for shipping and taxes. So let's see the taxes right here. We had enabled the tax, but we didn't really configure it, so we can come back here and configure it. Because we did the sample store, it automatically went ahead and created some categories and it created some taxes for me. If this was a production side, you would have to come here and manually add your taxes and so forth. Same goes with shipping. I can see that the sample store did set up a ground shipping for me, and I see it did set up some sample rates as well. All right, let's go back to our documentation. We are pretty much done. The next thing is you just go ahead and add your products, manufacturers, categories, and so forth, and you're ready to go. Now, since this is a sample store, we see the categories are already added. We see products are already added, but this is where you would go ahead and create new products, manufacturers, and categories, and so forth. Each of these is detailed, explained and detailed in separate videos and through our documentation. So we'll go ahead and skip that in this video. The last thing you want to do is make sure you test in Sandbox. Do some test transactions and have them go through Sandbox. Be sure to switch into live mode, which I just showed you. So you would go back to store extensions, and whenever you're ready to go live, you would have. So for PayPal Express, you'd switch your Sandbox and live mode on your PayPal dashboard on PayPal.com. For other payment gateways, you will have the option right here. So you will switch going into live right here and click update. The only other thing I always tell customers to do is make sure you know how to refund and cancel orders. So that's also super easy. You go to sales orders, and you will see your orders right here. And then simply from here, you can go ahead and cancel an order, and you will see the option to refund the order here if your payment gateway supports it, and a click will automatically refund it for you. So that's it for setting this up. I apologize for this long video. Hopefully it was on point, and it will help you set this live storefront up for you. Any questions, feel free to open a support ticket and we'll be happy to assist. Thank you so much for watching this video.